Welcome back. Let's begin it all. And more banks are now turning to the local capital market to help raise fresh cash to meet the new capital requirement. Access Bank yesterday joined the HFC Bank, seeking to raise funds to meet the Bank of Ghana's new capital requirement of 400 million Ghana cedis. But how deep is the country's market to provide the required funds for these banks? There's more in the following report.
The capital market will indeed be quite busy from next year. This is because Joy Business is learning more banks will be going that way as they move quickly to meet the 400 million cedi capital requirement before the December 2018 deadline. Access Bank has also disclosed it will be raising up to 300 million cedis to help meet the new capital levels after a similar move by HFC Bank. The concern here, however, is whether local investors will be able to take advantage of this opening to be part owners of these banks, or they would miss out, looking at the fact that most initial public offerings are taken up by institutional investors. There are fears that moves to increase the minimum capital requirement will lead to most of the local banks going into the hands of foreigners. So, if past developments on the market are anything to go by, then most of the banks would raise the money but would be taken up by institutional and offshore investors. Will these banks be able to raise the entire amount target through the stock and capital market locally? Well, time will tell as remaining 25 banks that are yet to meet the capital requirement take some critical moves to improve their capital position.
Let's still stay on the capital market. And First Bank has emerged the best investment bank for 2017. This was at this year's Capital Market Dinner and Awards organized by the Ghana Securities Industry Association in Accra. Guest of honor, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, outlined some of the gains chalked by the current administration. He expressed government's resolve to strengthen the capital market. There's more in this report.
Ghana's capital market has evolved significantly since its inception many years ago. From a very humble beginning of less than 10 companies, for instance, on the stock exchange, the local bourse can now boast of 36 companies listed. The Capital Market Dinner and GSIA Awards is held annually to recognize the sterling performance of some players operating in the capital market. For 2017, 16 different categories of awards were given. Under the first awards category, some companies, including Gold Coast Securities, Data Bank Asset Management, CDH Securities Limited, and SAS, among others, were honored as founding members of the Ghana Securities Industry Awards, while EDC Investment Limited won the Asset Management Company of the Year. Deputy Director General of the Securities Exchange Commission, Paul Abebio, was happy the capital market has reflected the current state of the economy. He emphasized the need to enhance intermediation of the capital market and outlined some areas SEC will focus on next year.
The level of intermediation in our markets is actually quite low. I won't spend too much time on that, but I think in the course of next year, we'll be talking a lot about intermediation and how we enhance liquidity in our markets. So as our markets grow, there's the need to enhance the infrastructure, governance and regulations that guide operations and investors. There's also a need for greater transparency and timely enforcement of regulatory actions. There have been a number of complaints against certain market operators, and this highlights the need for effective risk management and controls. We cannot compromise the ethical standards of our industry because we are based on trust, and we work on trust basis.
The president of the GSIA, Reginald France, praised his predecessor and promised to entrench the educational drive of the capital market. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta was enthused about the significant gains made by Hong Kong's capital market and noted that Ghana has capacity to follow suit.
Our dream in a Ghana Beyond Aid is how do we create a global financial services center in Accra? How do corporate headquarters begin to locate their offices here? Hong Kong has about 7,000 multinationals in that small country operating as their key offices for the region. What is it that will make it possible for us? So yes, what is the potential? As the Deputy DG said, How do we want to get there, and what do we do now? I think we really need to dream big and believe that we can do it. If really some 1 million people in 1965, Singapore, could turn the economy to where it is, I am deeply confident that the 27 million people in Ghana can do a lot more.
First Bank emerged the best investment bank of the year. The managing director shared his thoughts with Joy Business.
One of the things we do as an investment bank is that we lay so much emphasis on research. You realize that we also won gold in the research house division. So that is the main contributor to our performance as an investment bank of the year.
Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta and CEO of GIPC, who all won awards, also expressed their thoughts.
The market started with some 11 shares on the stock market in November 1990, in which we participated. And today, as you see, it's over 30 companies. We trade both bonds. There's a second market. And really what I'm saying is that it can be a really solid platform for what we are planning in government to make Ghana the financial services center. When you look at a place like Singapore, which was much smaller than what we are today. Today the GDP is $508 billion, and it's a good part of it has been how the financial infrastructure has participated in that. I think it's the third largest trader of foreign exchange markets in the world, and I believe that Ghana should begin to look at itself also as a global financial services center.
Ghana capital market is still young, but I can assure you that looking forward, it looks like it might play a bigger integral role to the economy than before. And this year particularly, there have been some issues, some debt issues that have gone through the capital markets. But on the equity side, we are yet to see some real depth coming up, and I suspect that it's going to come up pretty soon. The capital markets, I would probably say, actually got a footing in Ghana in 1990. And that's when the stock exchange came up. You had firms like DataBank come up, SAS, those Merchant Bank, those NTHC. And since then, there have been quite a number. I mean, I was surprised to know that there are over 100 advisory firms in the market today.
Despite significant gains of the capital market, it is yet to reflect the many opportunities of the economy. Real estate and technology are largely misrepresented.
Meanwhile, CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, is upbeat the significant jump in the number of Ghanaians who are registering to start businesses in the manufacturing industry would yield significant results next year. Yofi Grant thinks there are many more opportunities that Ghanaians can leverage.
Our president has actually shown a leadership role in repositioning Africa economically, that we can build our continent, yes, we can become a credible trading partner, an investment partner, and yes, there's a lot of investment opportunity here. So even though we targeted 5 billion for this year, 5 billion FDI this year, we haven't completed the year yet. We have already registered close to 4.4 billion of FDI. And that gives us hope that, yes, there is a potential, because we've barely scratched the potential opportunities in Ghana. The surprising thing for me, though, is that in the third quarter, we saw a lot more manufacturing, people coming to do to invest in manufacturing. They registered more quite a number of manufacturing projects. But also interesting the fact that now we are seeing a lot of Ghanaians come to register at GIPC. Much more than before. So all these indicate some confidence in the economy. Yeah, Ghanaians who are looking to manufacture. Some are in joint ventures, some are wholly owned Ghanaian companies, and then some to is direct foreign direct investor looking to do it. So I think and for me it's exciting, because then it shows that the government's plan to move from an economy where based on export of resources and raw materials to one of value-added manufacturing and industry is a step in the right direction.
All right, so let's now deal with one of our top stories. And you deal with gold buying firm Men's Gold at your own risk, and Bank of Ghana would not be liable in the event of any loss. This could be described as a final warning to clients, depositors, and the public in general on dealings with the gold buying firm. Now, my colleague George Yafi has been following this with keen interest and has joined in the studio to give us some more updates. Now, George, why is it that people still are keeping monies with Men's Gold after the first warning came?
Well, that's the warning from the Bank of Ghana. But again, when you engage some of these people and then they look at the returns that Men's Gold is giving to them, they still cannot believe the Bank of Ghana why it is risky to put monies with Men's Gold. And again, another interesting thing we have here, it's even about the profile of people who are even depositing with this Men's Gold. And you have not to, but very educated people who you believe that they appreciate the nuances of savings, investment, and all the rest, and they still want to place their funds with Men's Gold. So it looks like what Men's Gold is offering them in terms of returns and how they've structured their whole dealings is more of a novelty. By investing in something, they'll give you gold, and your investment is pegged according to a gold buy and all those things, and people believe that it might be a good place to place your funds, and that is why people don't believe the bank. If you think that the institution is bad, if you think that we cannot save with the institution, then why don't you go and close it down? But just a warning is not enough. And when you engage some people today believe that, Bank of Ghana don't want us to deal with an institution that is doing well, rather let's save with the traditional banks and all the rest, which when you look at the returns in the traditional banks, i.e. what institutions like these are offering, obviously people want to put their funds on Men's Gold.
Now, it's quite amazing because as a regulator, one would think that the first move is to close it down because obviously in the past, the Bank of Ghana has moved to close banks.
Let's cast our mind back. And there have been instances where the Bank of Ghana had gone in to close down certain institutions, and these institutions have gone to court, and the Bank of Ghana has got its fingers bent. So it looks like they have learned their lessons from those actions, that before we move in to close an institution, there are certain lay-down procedures that we have to explore, do the required investigations. I mean, were they required to do X, what, all those things before they move in legally to take that action. So we knew that the Bank of Ghana was undertaking some investigations, and that is why if you also speak to people who are close to the Bank of Ghana or who are close to the dealings of the Bank of Ghana, this warning could be the final warning to the public before the Bank of Ghana moves to deal with Men's Gold together with other agencies. So the Bank of Ghana itself may not have the power to directly go and close the institution, maybe work with the CID, work with the Financial Intelligence Center and all the rest, to bring the security agencies, maybe seal of the premise. What we also picked up was that what was the main argument of the Bank of Ghana is about taking deposits. So can they move in and stop Men's Gold from doing that particular action? And all these things are on the table, and maybe very, very soon some will say, expect the Bank of Ghana to move in and take that drastic action of sealing of the premise. So,
George, what could be the implications of this current warning to the public?
When you again engage the legal minds, they will tell you that instances where there's been a bank run, there's been a bank failure, there's been a savings and loans company that has gone down, you often find the courts or you have the government of the day trying to appeal to the Bank of Ghana to step in and help them. So for instance, if you saved with Men's Gold or you put your investments in Men's Gold, maybe you have about 10,000 Ghana cedis, and when there's a collapse or maybe there's a run on Men's Gold, and you go to the courts actually to tell them that I want the Bank of Ghana to actually refund my money to me and all the rest because of the current laws, this might be just an immunity, if I should use that word, these actions, because they would be able to explain to the court that we warned the public on several occasions not to deal with the institution, and therefore they might not be liable for any loss that any depositor might be exposed to. And if you read through the statement carefully, it's not just about taking deposits, also more of dividend payments as well, and other things that they are into. And even if you engage the Securities and Exchange Commission also with respect to if it's more of operating derivatives as well, they don't have the license also to do that. So all these things are critical. The required legal procedures that any regulator has to go through before that final action. And if again what we are hearing from the regulator and those who are close to the regulator
anything to go by, then expect the final action from the Bank of Ghana.
All right,
very soon, yeah.
So for now, let's just wait and see whether the public will respond.
And let's see what will be Men's Gold's official response on this issue as well.
All right, thank you very much, George.
Thank you so much, Yafi.
And that was George Yafi bringing us up to speed with the current warning by the Bank of Ghana to the public who are still depositing monies with Men's Gold. Now, moving on to yet another award story. Implementation of tax cuts announced in the 2017 budget has resulted in the loss of 1 billion cedis of revenue to government since the beginning of the year. This was announced by President Akufo-Addo at the Ghana Expatriates Business Awards held last night.
Made in Ghana Expatriate Business Awards, organized by the Ministry of Trade and Industry in collaboration with the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, was used to recognize the contribution of foreign businesses to the Ghanaian economy. In a keynote address, President Akufo-Addo said government spent less than projected for initiatives in the tax policy measures.
Government within this period has controlled domestic borrowing so as not to crowd out the private sector from the financial markets. Our external debt commitments have also been brought to more sustainable limits. We're also strengthening the private sector by shifting the focus of our economic policy from taxation to incentivizing production. In this regard, government at the beginning of the year announced a number of tax cuts which affected 10 different taxes, amounting to some 1 billion Ghana cedis in foregone revenue to the exchequer. These reforms are designed to make Ghana the investment destination of choice in Africa.
Unilever Ghana was adjudged the top business expatriate company. Chief Executive of Unilever, Yos Yebitin, and Mike Thakwani of B5 Plus Limited, winner of the Best Expatriate Company in the metal and steel category, spoke with Joy Business.
It's our business model, the business model which is about creating shared value with values, making sure that whatever we do has a meaning for the communities and the people where we operate, making sure that we do our fair share of contribution to the economy in the countries where we operate, and making sure that the people that have chosen to work with us as employees but also as partners, we treat them well. We create value for themselves so that we can in return get value for ourselves. That's what I think makes a difference between Unilever and many other companies. And by the way, we wish that many companies can actually choose to embrace the way of doing business, which is about all having a social impact.
We have been rewarded back for the hard work all we are doing. B5 Plus is #1 steel manufacturing company, not only in Ghana but into the West African region. So really it motivates us to do more better. So we dedicate this award to all our workers. Without them, you could have not reached where we are today.
Have you been operating in Ghana for so many years? How do you see the Ghanaian economy so far with regards to businesses?
Well, the Ghana economy is really improving. Today we can say that the industrialists, they really play a lot of big role. Today I have been in Ghana for the last 21 years and I can say that we are the one of them who have make the steel market grow. You know, so that is very important that with the cutting edge technology, we have to make sure that we keep innovating ourselves, make our R&D more stronger and make goods more competitive rates provided at the door center to the Ghanaians so that they are able to afford and they are able to build more and more houses, more bridges and more railway network.
President and Chief Executive of Geodrill, Dave Harper, the company which won Best Expatriate Company in the mining category, expressed satisfaction about the award.
I'm truly honoured. I've lived in Ghana for 25 years. I came here in 1993 as a general manager of a small company. 5 years later I started my own company, Geodrill. Most people would know that company today because it's grown from being a small company to actually a rather large company. And the company's even listed on Toronto stock market. And we provide services to the mining industry. We provide a lot of career opportunities. We have basically put Ghana on the map in terms of mining services exploration services. We do things a little differently, and it's very, very nice to be acknowledged.
Other award winners of the night include Interplus Limited, Nestle Ghana, UBA Ghana, and retail giant Melcom, among others, in their respective sectors.
Now, international captains of industry in the agri sector are in Ghana to exchange ideas on the best ways of making the agri value chain very competitive. This follows the launch of the 4th West Africa International Trade Show, which has brought together 93 exhibitors from 23 countries to Accra. Charles It is at the fairgrounds and joins us with this report.
We're here at the Accra International Conference Center, where the 4th West African International Trade Show, which is basically based on the agri sector, has been launched. This very launch has seen captains of industry in the agri sector, in fact, the entire value chain of the agri sector, come together to find lasting solutions on best ways of improving the sector in terms of packaging, agri-processing, and of course, the investment in this very sector. We shall be engaging with the Dutch ambassador to Ghana, Ron Stricker, who has hinted to us that his outfit, that's the Dutch embassy, is committed to extending its own project with Ghana to boost the agri sector. Hundreds of millions of euros we're talking about in the next few years. How is it going to benefit the economy, and what next to Ghana's agri sector? We shall be finding out in this our interaction with him.
Green vegetables in particular, there is a lot of potential there that is being rolled out at the moment. Many farmers who see themselves, because that's a mentality which is important, as entrepreneurs and would like to make of agriculture a profitable business, are part of our program, and they produce more and more healthy and green vegetables, which is good for the country, but it's good for Ghanaians and it's good for the Dutch as well. It's good for anybody on the planet. So it's being helped.
Yeah. But speaking about the, the Netherlands, Holland, I should say, we have realized that over the past few years, you have remained on top in terms of agricultural exports and even imports in that regard. You hold this particular niche of, quality in your own sector. How best then do you think that Ghana could intensify and improve its own value chain in the agri sector?
I think apart from the programs that we are running jointly with our partners in Ghana, our starting point, of course, is that we ourselves, as Holland, are one of the largest agricultural producers in the world. We are the second largest exporter of agricultural products, and we have a very strong, innovative and competitive horticultural sector. And that means that there is a lot of knowledge, a lot of technology that we, and our companies in particular, because it's the private sector which drives this sector, this domain, can share with Ghana. So as the embassy is concerned and the government of Holland is concerned, we try to get Dutch companies to Ghana to share, to invest in capital, bring with them capital, and invest, of course, also in technology. They bring also the technology to Ghana, and good farming practices, because that is, for instance, in the vegetable sector also very important. So by doing that, we really hope that our partnership will result in a very successful agriculture in Ghana in a couple of years from now.
Thank you very much, our Ambassador Ron Stricker. He's a Dutch ambassador to Ghana, explaining to us the various implementations that his outfit is putting together to boost the agricultural sector here in Ghana. So we shall be engaging other stakeholders as well, finding out from them what the expectations are in the wake of this very trade show, agricultural trade show, to give you updates as and when we do have them.
Thank you very much, Charles It, for that report. And before we finally go, in a new move designed to reduce price and ease logistics inherent in the purchase of its products, the management of Dangote Cement PLC has signed a pact with the foremost e-commerce platform Jumia Nigeria to offer for sale its cement to customers online. At the unveiling of the deal in Lagos, Nigeria, Dangote Cement said it was happy to partner with the online shopping giant in a bid to make Dangote Cement available with ease to customers. According to the deal, Nigerians and corporate bodies wishing to purchase a minimum of 300 bags of 50 kilos of cement and above can now order on Jumia from the comforts of their rooms at a reasonable price of 2,500 naira per bag, as opposed to how much is sold in the open market, and see them delivered to any place of their choice without any extra cost for transportation. All right, so on that note, we wrap up this afternoon's edition of The Marketplace, and I hope you really enjoyed the package today. My name is Emmanuel Apwaji. Let's meet again, same time tomorrow. Have a good afternoon.